And welcome to the Old School Show where we count 'em down. I'm your host, Coach L.O. Grant, longtime football and wrestling coach at the high school level. Hey, we've got some good stories and a few opinions. Let's go. It was a Saturday morning, the fall of 1969, I believe. I had just graduated from high school the previous June, and I had walked over to my old high school to watch a freshman football game. Now, I love watching high school football, even a freshman game. Plus, I wanted to see what the new class looked like. Now, you could stand on the sidelines and watch the game. There were no bleachers. It was just our old practice field. I noticed one of the players standing on the sidelines, and he never got in the game. He just stood there watching his teammates, and he was chewing on his mouthpiece. He was a big kid, about 6'2" or so, and probably weighed close to 300 pounds. He had a huge butt and was, to be honest, just a fat kid. He reminded me of the old comic book character, Baby Huey. Anyway, I looked at him and I thought, poor kid, he'll never play. He looked totally unathletic, and he never got in the game. I never thought much about it after that, but that winter, my brother Dan, who was on the wrestling team, told me that the same kid, James, had come out for wrestling. Now, the guys called him Tuna. I don't know why. My brother said he was a really nice kid and worked hard. Good for him, I thought. So, his sophomore season, I kind of lost track of him because I just figured he was a non-factor. My brother told me he was the backup heavyweight to a pretty good senior, but then came his junior season. Now, by this time, my youngest brother, Ken, might have also been on the wrestling team. Anyway, James had blossomed. Through hard work in football and wrestling, he was now a serious athlete. The football coaches were talking him up in the preseason. He was going to start on the varsity football team at D tackle. Now, is this the same kid, I thought, that 2 years ago stood on the sideline of a freshman football game who looked totally hopeless? It sure was. And as I said, he had blossomed. 6'4", 275 pounds, and a slimmed down rear end. I watched a varsity game, and by golly, he was good. I think he made all conference his junior year. Then came wrestling season. He was a load. He was an outstanding heavyweight. He qualified for state, placing 5th at state. Now, in Illinois, a very good wrestling state, by the way, if you place in the top 6, you're an all-stater. Holy cow, a kid that I felt sorry for was now an all-state wrestler. So, how did his senior year go and the rest of his athletic career? Well, he was a two-way starter in football his senior year and was named All-State. In wrestling, he placed 3rd in the state tournament. He then committed to the University of Missouri in football and became an All-American offensive tackle. He was drafted by the New Orleans Saints and started 4 years for them before retiring with a knee injury. Now, this is what the Missouri Hall of Fame has to say about James Taylor because he was inducted into the Missouri Hall of Fame, the University of Missouri. It says, James Taylor came to Mizzou from Peoria, Illinois, and developed into one of Missouri's most feared and punishing offensive linemen. He was a major factor in helping Mizzou to some of its biggest wins in history, including a 20-7 win at second-ranked Alabama in 75, a 46-25 win at 8th-ranked USC in 76, a 22-21 win at second-ranked Ohio State in 76, and a 34-24 win at third-ranked Nebraska in 1976. Taylor won first-team All-Big 8 conference honors for his stellar play as a senior in 1977 and was selected to play in the Blue-Gray Classic as well as the Senior Bowl in 1978. He went on to become a second-round pick in the 78 NFL Draft by the New Orleans Saints and had a solid professional career. Taylor was a starter for the Saints and played in 57 games overall for the franchise from 78 to 81, where James then suffered a knee injury and had to retire. Now, is there a lesson to be learned here? Probably several. But the first one that comes to my mind is hard work pays off. Football is tough. Wrestling is grueling, and he stuck with both and turned himself into a stud. For coaches, the lesson is don't overlook any freshman. Be patient. Work with them. And that kid who wasn't much as a freshman just might end up an All-American and even a pro. That's what happened to James Taylor. Hey, on to my countdown of the 50 greatest running backs in NFL history. But first, hit that like button if these memories brought a smile to your face. Subscribe so that you don't miss the next step down memory lane. And ring that notification bell to be the first to hear our next show. Well, on to our countdown. We left off last episode with Curtis Martin at number 19 and Marcus Allen at number 18. So we'll begin this countdown of my 50 greatest NFL running backs with number 17, Terrell Davis. Davis, a 5'11", 206-pounder, played 7 years in the NFL, running for 7,607 yards, receiving 1,280 yards. In 98, he ran for 2,008 yards, becoming one of the few players to run over 2,000 yards in NFL history. He doesn't have great career numbers because of a devastating knee injury, but in 98, he also had 21 TDs, a 5.1 rushing average, 125 yards per game. His first 4 years are one of the best starts in NFL history. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2017. He was the NFL MVP in 98 and the Super Bowl MVP. He was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 96 and 98. Two-time Super Bowl champ, 3 times All-Pro, 1990s NFL All-Decades team. He's in the Denver Bronco Ring of Fame and holds the record in the NFL for the most rushing TDs in a single postseason, which is 8, in the 97 playoffs. My number 17, Terrell Davis. Number 16 on my list, Ole Matson, a 6'2", 220-pounder that my Uncle Dave swore was the greatest that ever played. He played 14 years in the NFL, mostly with the Chicago Cardinals. He ran for 5,173 yards, made the Hall of Fame in 1972. He's on the NFL 1950s All-Decade team, NFL Rookie of the Year in 1952, an honor that he shared with Hugh McElhaney. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl MVP, first-team All-Pro 7 times, NFL punt return yards leader in 1955, NFL kickoff return TDs leader multiple years, and was the NFL all-purpose yards leader in 1954 and 1956. Oh, by the way, he competed for the U.S. in the 1952 Helsinki Olympics, winning a silver medal in the 4x4 relay and a bronze medal in the 400-meter dash. He is a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a first-team All-American defensive back in 1951, so the guy could play on both sides of the ball. Of course, he's in the Cardinals Ring of Honor. He's in the Eagles Hall of Fame, which he also played for the Eagles. The list just continues to go on. I finally have to just stop at that point, but wow, what a player, Ole Matson. Hey, relive the glory with us each episode, and we'll see you next time as we continue our countdown of the 50 greatest running backs in NFL history.